Hare Krishna. Before we enter into chapter 9, let's briefly recall what Krishna reveals in chapter 8. There, he glorified his pure devotees, those who practice Ananya Bhakti, undivided devotion. Such devotees are not worried about the technicalities like whether they leave the body in light or in darkness, nor are they concerned with yogic perfections. They simply know with unshakable faith that Krishna will take care of them. Krishna also concluded in chapter 8 by affirming that bhakti, devotion, is the highest and most effective form of yoga. Now, in chapter 9, he builds upon this truth. He takes us deeper into the heart of devotion, explaining how one becomes a pure devotee and why this path is both the most confidential and the most joyful. This chapter is known as the King of Knowledge and the King of Secrets because here Krishna shares the essence of spiritual life in its most beautiful and accessible form, which is the supremacy of loving devotion. In the Bhagavad Gita, the deepest truths are often hidden right in the middle of the conversation, just like a pearl that is hidden inside a shell, or a king who's always surrounded by his entourage. In the same way, chapter 9 is placed in the very heart of Gita because it contains its essence. Krishna calls this the king of knowledge and the most secret of all secrets because, why? Because this knowledge reveals the perfection of spiritual practice and the ultimate goal of life. This is the treasure chest of the Gita. Here, Krishna doesn't just give philosophy, he gives the very key to living a spiritual life and ultimately to returning back home, back to him. So, as we begin chapter 9, let's open up this hidden jewel together, shall we? And understand why Krishna called this knowledge the most confidential. To help us understand chapter 9 more easily, we'll remember it through the acronym KING, because Krishna here gives us the king of knowledge and king of secrets. So K stands for knowledge, E is inconceivable relationship, N is non-worship, and G is the glories of bhakti. K, knowledge. Chapter 9 begins with Krishna glorifying this knowledge he's about to share. He tells Arjuna, I am revealing this to you because you are not envious of me. This point is very important. True spiritual knowledge can only be received by someone whose heart is open, humble, and non-envious of God. Krishna then describes his wisdom with four beautiful qualities. It is Rajavidya, as the king of knowledge, Rajaguhyam, the most confidential, Pavitram, the purest, and the Uttamam, the highest. This knowledge reveals the true position of the soul and its eternal relationship with the Krishna. But there's a condition, faith. In the third verse, Krishna explains that those who lack faith in this path of devotion cannot attain him, no matter how much they learn or practice. So the key takeaway here is that this knowledge is not just intellectual, it is spiritual, and it blossoms only in a faithful and non-envious heart. Arjuna had that sincerity, and therefore Krishna opened the treasure of wisdom to him. Inconceivable relationships. Now Krishna takes us deeper into his inconceivable achintya relationship with the world. He explains that although everything rests in him, he remains completely detached. He gives a very simple but powerful analogy. Just like the wind always blows within the vast sky, yet the sky itself is untouched and unaffected. And in the same way, This entire creation exists within Krishna, yet he remained beyond it, untouched by its limitation. That is why God's opulences and relationships are called achintaya, inconceivable. They cannot be fully grasped by logic or reason because his qualities are unlimited, beyond human comprehension. And then Krishna makes a very striking point. The entire cosmic manifestation is working under his supervision. Every planet, every living being, every movement of nature operates under his direction. In fact, he concludes, not even a blade of grass can move without his sanction. So, what does this mean for us? It reminds us two things. God is both immanent, which means present everywhere, sustaining all life, and transcendent, always above and beyond this material world. For a devotee, this understanding brings both humility and confidence. We are completely dependent on Krishna's will, yet also completely sheltered under his care. Non-worship. In this section, Krishna explains two different classes of people relate to him. Some, due to their ignorance, see Krishna as his human-like form, dismiss him as an ordinary person. They think, how can God appear in such a simple form? But in doing so, they fail to realize this very human-like form is supreme, source of everything. Krishna calls such people moodas, the foolish, because they are illusioned by his external energy and cannot see his true position. Then Krishna speaks about two categories of worshippers: those who worship demigods and those who worship Krishna directly. Those who worship demigods, yes, they do receive results, but those results are temporary. By worshipping Indra, Varuna, Surya, they may rise to the heavenly planets, enjoy celestial pleasures for thousands of years, but once their pious credits expire, they must return to the earthly plane. It is like a holiday that eventually ends and you have to come back home. Now, those who worship Krishna directly, they are different. Their worship is eternal and their destination is eternal. Krishna assures us, those who worship me come to my abode, Golok Vrindavan, where there is no return, no decay, no death. Finally, Krishna glorifies his pure devotees. He says, my devotees are always under my spiritual energy. They do not get confused by temporary attraction or illusion, Maya. Instead, they engage wholeheartedly in serving Krishna with faith and love, and Krishna personally takes care of them. So, the key takeaway here is any worship outside Krishna may give temporary results, but only devotion to Krishna leads to eternal bliss in his divine abode. Glories of Bhakti. In this final section of the chapter, Krishna reveals the true glory of devotional service. After speaking about knowledge, mysteries, and worship, he now makes it very clear. The real path to him is very simple. What is required? Not wealth, not scholarship, not power, only love and devotion. And Krishna says, if one offers me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or even water with love and devotion, I accept it. Imagine how compassionate and merciful that is. He doesn't ask for gold or riches. He looks only at the sincerity of the heart. Then Krishna takes us further. He explains, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever charity you give, do it as an offering to me. By doing this, our action no longer bind us in karma. The auspicious and inauspicious reaction of work are burnt away, and our mind becomes fixed in him. And Krishna promises, such a devotee comes back to him, liberated and to the eternal spiritual world. He also assures us, I am equal to everyone, but then he adds something very sweet. Yet I'm inclined towards my devotee. Just like a father is neutral to all the children in the world, but he has a special soft corner for his own child. In the same way, Krishna's heart is especially drawn to his loving devotees. Think of it as a simple example. If my father gives me a chocolate and I break just a little piece and offer it back to him, won't he be delighted? He already owns the whole chocolate, but he becomes happy because of the love with which I offered it. Similarly, everything we have has already been given by Krishna. Yet when we offer us even a small part of it back to him with love, Krishna becomes pleased. And that connection brings us eternal happiness. There's a beautiful story in Ramayana that illustrates this. When Lord Ram was exiled, Ramji, Sita Mata, and Lakshmanji came to a river. They wondered how to cross, and the boatman appeared. Ram asked him to ferry them across, and he gladly did so. When they reached the other side, Ram wanted to give him some payment. Sita Mata even began removing her ring, but the boatman refused. He said, Stop. In our community, we boatmen give each other rides for free. You, Ram, is like, and Ramji's like, hang on, you are a boatman. I get it. I'm not a boatman. He said, yet you, Ram, are the greatest boatman. Because while I carry people across a river, you carry all souls across the vast ocean of material existence in the material world. So shouldn't you, the great boatman, give me the small boatman a ride for free? Such a simple act of service, just rowing a boat, won Lord's heart. That humble boatman attained eternal perfection simply through his service offered with devotion. So Krishna concludes this chapter by giving us an essence. Bhakti, devotional service, is the highest and simplest path. But always remember him by offering whatever we have with love. We purify our lives and prepare ourselves to return back home, back to Godhead. Before we close chapter 9, let's pause and reflect on one of the most beautiful teaching Krishna gives here. He says, if you offer me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or even water, if it's offered with love, I will accept it. This verse is so powerful because it shows Krishna is not impressed by wealth, status, or ritualistic complexity. What he values is the love behind the act. Even the simplest offering, if given with sincerity, connect us with Supreme. It also reminds us that bhakti is accessible to everyone. We don't need to be scholars, rich, or powerful. All we need is a heart that wants to love and serve Krishna. That's why bhakti is called the king of knowledge, because it transforms our everyday life into sacred offering. Even eating, working, or speaking can become acts of devotion when done for Krishna. And this is the practical takeaway for everyone for this in this chapter, chapter 9. So, to conclude chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge, we can see how Krishna step by step opened his heart and revealed the essence of Gita. Firstly, he told Arjuna that this knowledge is Raj Guhya, Raj Vidyam, the king of all knowledge and the most confidential of all secrets. But there is one condition: only those who are free from envy and have faith can truly receive it. Then Krishna explains his inconceivable relationship with this universe. Just as the wind rests in the sky but remains detached, everything rests in him, yet he remains transcendental and beyond it all. He is a supreme director, and not a blade of grass moves without his sanction. Next, he describes the different types of worshippers. Some mistake him to be an ordinary person, while others worship demigods for temporary benefits. But those who worship Krishna directly are given something eternal, his own abode beyond the cycle of birth and death. And finally, he glorified bhakti, devotional service, as a highest path. So, simple yet so profound. Krishna accepts the smallest offering if it's given with love and devotion. By dedicating all of our actions to Him, we are freed for karma and attain liberation. And above all, Krishna shows us his heart. Though he's equal to everyone, he's especially inclined towards his devotees. So, the essence of chapter 9 can be remembered in one word. What is that? King. K. Knowledge, confidential and pure. I. Inconceivable relationship of God with his creation. N is non worship and mistaken worship contrasted with pure devotion. And G. Glories of Bhakti, the path of love and devotion. With this, Krishna has prepared Arjuna and us to now enter chapter 10, where he begins to reveal his divine opulences. In chapter 9, he gave us the essence of devotion, and in chapter 10, he will open our eyes to his unlimited greatness, helping us to see him everywhere and in everything. Hare Krishna.